We've all witnessed it. A major oil company sponsoring a prestigious art exhibition, a notorious bank funding a beloved museum wing, or a fast fashion giant endorsing a cutting-edge design festival. On the surface, it looks like pure philanthropy, a benevolent gesture that enriches our cultural landscape and provides access to incredible art. But what if these acts of corporate generosity aren't just about giving back? What if they're a meticulously crafted strategy to polish tarnished reputations, distract from ethical breaches, and subtly manipulate public perception? This insidious phenomenon has a name: artwashing. Artwashing is the strategic use of art and cultural sponsorships by corporations to enhance their public image, distract from unethical practices, or greenwash their reputation. It's a sophisticated form of corporate social responsibility, not primarily driven by genuine altruism, but by a calculated desire to deflect criticism and appear benevolent. Think of it as a corporate chameleon, using the vibrant, respected cloak of art to blend into the cultural fabric, making its true colors harder to discern. This isn't just about a company writing a check. It's about a strategic investment in public goodwill, a carefully orchestrated performance designed to reshape how we perceive them. The core mechanism of artwashing is deceptively simple, yet incredibly effective. Art, by its very nature, is associated with creativity, intellect, beauty, and often progressive thought and social commentary. When a corporation, particularly one with a controversial track record, aligns itself with these revered values through sponsorship, it attempts to absorb that positive association. The prestige of the art world, the gravitas of cultural institutions, and the perceived neutrality of artistic expression are all leveraged to subtly shift public perception. Suddenly, the company isn't just an oil giant contributing to climate change, it's a patron of the arts, a supporter of human creativity. It's not just a bank implicated in financial scandals, it's a champion of cultural heritage. This psychological sleight of hand is powerful because it operates below the radar of conscious scrutiny. People rarely question the motives behind an art sponsorship, they simply appreciate the access to culture, unaware of the deeper agenda at play. Consider a common yet profoundly disturbing scenario. A fossil fuel company, facing mounting pressure over its environmental impact, its role in climate change, and its lobbying against renewable energy, announces a multi-million-dollar sponsorship of a major exhibition on climate change art at a prominent, respected museum. On the surface, this seems like a positive development. The exhibition itself might be thought-provoking, raising crucial awareness about environmental issues. But who truly benefits most from this arrangement? The company gets to associate its brand with environmental concern, even as its core business continues to extract and burn fossil fuels. Its logo is prominently displayed at the exhibition entrance, on promotional materials, and in press releases. Its executives attend gala openings, delivering speeches about their commitment to sustainability, and its public relations team crafts narratives about its forward-thinking approach. Meanwhile, the very real, often devastating environmental criticisms it faces are subtly pushed to the background, replaced by an image of a responsible corporate citizen engaging with critical issues. The public, perhaps subconsciously, begins to view the company through a softer lens, its perceptions subtly altered by the positive glow of artistic patronage. The art, ironically, becomes a shield, deflecting the uncomfortable truths about the company's operations. This is not just a coincidence, it's a meticulously planned strategic move. This isn't genuine philanthropy, it's strategic image management, an investment in social license. It's a way to buy goodwill, gain legitimacy, and critically, to silence dissent. By supporting cultural institutions, corporations can also gain influence within these spaces, potentially shaping narratives, or at the very least, ensuring that the institutions they fund do not become platforms for direct criticism against them. The insidious nature of art washing lies in its subtlety. It doesn't scream propaganda, it whispers benevolence. It doesn't overtly tell you what to think, it simply changes the context in which you perceive the corporation. And in a world saturated with information, where attention is a precious commodity, this context shift can be incredibly effective in shaping public opinion. It normalizes the presence of these corporations in our most cherished cultural spaces, making their actions seem less egregious by association. Historically, powerful entities have always used patronage to legitimize their rule or enhance their status. From Renaissance popes and princes commissioning masterpieces to industrial magnates funding public libraries, the act of supporting art has long been intertwined with power and influence. However, modern art washing takes this to a new, more manipulative level. It moves beyond simple patronage to active image laundering, where the primary goal isn't just prestige, but active reputation repair and distraction from egregious harms. We are witnessing a sophisticated evolution of propaganda, where the medium is not a political pamphlet, but a beautifully curated gallery. The danger lies in the erosion of trust, not just in corporations, but in the cultural institutions themselves, if they are perceived as complicit. It challenges the very idea of art as an independent, critical voice. The challenge for us, as critical observers, is to look beyond the glittering facade of corporate cultural engagement and question the true motivations behind these seemingly generous acts. Why now? Why this particular exhibition? And what are the broader implications of allowing corporate interests to dictate the funding and, by extension, potentially the narrative of our cultural spaces? Are we willing to sacrifice the integrity of our art for the sake of corporate handouts? The answer to that question determines the future of our cultural independence. Now that we understand what art washing is, let's pull back the curtain and meticulously detail the specific tactics and strategies corporations employ in their art washing efforts. This isn't a random collection of sponsorships. It's a well-researched, often cynical corporate playbook designed to maximize reputational gain while minimizing accountability. This sophisticated strategy leverages every angle of cultural engagement to create a smokescreen of benevolence. One of the most common and effective tactics is sponsoring high-profile exhibitions. By attaching their name to a blockbuster show featuring a renowned artist or a historically significant collection, corporations immediately tap into the positive associations of cultural sophistication and public service. An oil company might fund a major exhibition on future energy or indigenous art, subtly linking their brand to innovation or cultural respect, even as their operations continue to harm indigenous lands or perpetuate fossil fuel reliance. The sheer visibility of their logo on every banner, ticket, and catalog ensures broad public exposure, subtly imprinting a positive, cultured image. The company gets to be seen as a forward-thinking entity, even if its core business is stuck in the past or actively detrimental to the future. It's a powerful form of brand association, where the positive glow of artistic achievement is transferred directly to the corporate sponsor. Beyond single exhibitions, corporations often engage in funding cultural institutions directly. This can involve multi-year partnerships, naming rights for galleries or wings, or even significant endowments. The goal here is long-term influence and deeper integration into the cultural fabric. A major bank, for instance, might become the primary sponsor for a city's largest art museum, ensuring its executives hold seats on the board and its brand is synonymous with cultural philanthropy in that city. This gives them not just visibility, but also a degree of control, or at least a powerful voice in the institution's direction, potentially steering it away from controversial topics or artists that might challenge corporate interests. It's a subtle form of censorship, not through direct prohibition, but through financial leverage. Institutions, wary of losing crucial funding, become hesitant to host exhibitions or discussions that might alienate their corporate patrons. Another powerful tactic is the acquisition of vast art collections. While some companies genuinely appreciate art and invest in it responsibly, for others it's an asset, a status symbol, and a tool for art washing. These collections are often displayed in corporate headquarters, loaned to museums, or even used to establish private corporate museums. This strategy positions the company as a sophisticated collector and preserver of culture, elevating its image beyond its primary business. Imagine a tech giant, criticized for privacy breaches and monopolistic practices, suddenly opening a cutting-edge digital art museum, subtly shifting the narrative from data exploitation to artistic innovation and accessibility. This allows them to project an image of cultural sophistication and forward-thinking vision, overshadowing less flattering aspects of their business. Art initiatives can also be used as a front for gentrification. Developers or real estate companies looking to transform working-class neighborhoods into upscale areas might fund local art projects, murals, or small galleries. These initiatives are presented as community revitalization efforts, bringing beauty and culture to the area. However, they often serve to increase property values, attract a wealthier demographic, and ultimately displace long-term residents and local businesses who can no longer afford to live there. The art acts as a Trojan horse, paving the way for economic displacement under the guise of cultural enrichment. The psychological impact here is particularly insidious. Residents are made to feel that the improvement is for their benefit, even as it actively undermines their ability to remain in their homes, creating a bittersweet irony where culture becomes an agent of displacement. Let's delve deeper into some generalized examples. Consider a fast fashion brand notorious for exploitative labor practices, poor wages, and immense environmental waste. To counter this image, they might sponsor a major exhibition on sustainable fashion or ethical design. The exhibition might feature innovative materials and designs showcasing a future of responsible clothing, but the brand's core business model remains unchanged, continuing to rely on cheap labor and unsustainable production methods. The sponsorship serves as a greenwashing tactic, creating an illusion of eco-consciousness without addressing the systemic issues within their supply chain. Audiences are subtly led to believe the brand is part of the solution, not the problem, effectively buying their silence with the allure of a conscious consumerism that doesn't actually exist. Similarly, pharmaceutical companies, often criticized for high drug prices, aggressive marketing tactics, or contributing to public health crises, might fund art therapy programs for underserved communities or sponsor exhibitions on mental health. While these programs can offer genuine benefits, they also serve to soften the company's image, positioning them as compassionate health advocates rather than profit-driven entities. The focus shifts from their controversial business practices to their charitable contributions, creating a powerful emotional connection that can override rational critique. The psychological impact is profound. It leverages our desire for good and associates it with the corporate brand, making it harder to hold them accountable. This playbook is a masterclass in perception management, turning art into a powerful, silent weapon in the corporate arsenal. The manipulation is step by step. First, identify a negative perception or area of vulnerability. Second, find an art form or cultural institution that can provide a positive counter-narrative. Third, invest heavily, ensuring maximum visibility and association. Fourth, leverage public relations to amplify the message of corporate benevolence. The psychological impact on audiences is one of cognitive dissonance. How can a company that supports such beautiful, meaningful art be truly bad? This internal conflict often resolves in favor of the positive association, dulling critical thought and fostering a sense of passive acceptance. We are subtly trained to equate corporate presence in art with good corporate citizenship, blurring the lines between genuine support and calculated self-interest. This playbook is a masterclass in perception management, turning art into a powerful, silent weapon in the corporate arsenal, subtly influencing our minds without us even realizing it. Having dissected the insidious tactics of art washing, it's crucial now to confront its profound impact on cultural integrity and, more importantly, to explore the potential for resistance. When corporations weaponize culture, the very purpose of art as a medium for social commentary, critical thought, and change is jeopardized. This isn't just an abstract concern, it threatens the authenticity of our shared cultural spaces and the freedom of artistic expression itself. One of the most significant impacts is the erosion of artistic freedom. When cultural institutions become reliant on corporate funding, there's an unspoken yet powerful pressure to avoid anything that might offend or critique their benefactors. This can lead to self-censorship, where curators and artists might shy away from politically charged themes, particularly those that directly challenge corporate power or specific industries. The result is a sanitization of art, a softening of its edges, and a gradual shift away from its radical potential. Art that is meant to provoke, question, and challenge becomes palatable, safe, and ultimately less impactful. The critical voices that art is meant to amplify are subtly silenced, not by overt decree, but by the chilling effect of financial dependence. This creates a cultural landscape where the most challenging and necessary art struggles to find a platform, while the innocuous and agreeable flourishes under corporate patronage. Art's true purpose is to reflect society, to challenge norms, and to inspire dialogue, even uncomfortable ones. But when corporate influence dictates what art is shown, how it's presented, or even what themes are explored, this purpose is subverted. Art becomes a tool for corporate PR rather than a mirror to the soul of humanity. It transforms from a space of genuine expression into a billboard for corporate benevolence, effectively turning cultural spaces into extensions of marketing departments. This doesn't just impact the art world, it impacts society's ability to engage with critical issues through a powerful, non-commercial lens. We lose a vital channel for independent thought and collective introspection. So, how can we, as individuals, artists, and communities, identify and challenge art washing? The first step is critical engagement. Always question the motives behind corporate cultural engagement. When you see a major exhibition sponsored by a controversial company, ask, what does this company stand to gain? Is their involvement genuine, or is it a calculated image laundering exercise? Research the company's track record. Are their actions in line with the values promoted by the art they sponsor? If an oil company sponsors an environmental art show, investigate their lobbying efforts against climate legislation. If a bank funds a community art project, look into their investment practices and whether they contribute to economic inequality. This vigilant scrutiny is our first line of defense. Another crucial strategy is advocating for ethical funding. Support cultural institutions that prioritize diverse funding sources and transparent ethical guidelines for sponsorships. Engage with museums and galleries, demanding greater accountability and questioning their reliance on funds from problematic corporations. Artists themselves have a powerful role to play. Many artists and activist groups have directly challenged art washing by refusing sponsorships from certain companies, staging protests outside corporate-sponsored events, or creating counter-art that explicitly critiques art washing. Organizations like Liberate Tate, for example, successfully campaigned for Tate Modern to drop BP sponsorship. Their activism demonstrated that collective action can indeed force institutions to reconsider their alliances and prioritize integrity over easy money. We must also actively support independent artistic endeavors. Seek out and champion artists, galleries, and cultural spaces that operate outside the direct influence of corporate money. This could mean attending local art fairs, buying art directly from artists, supporting crowdfunding campaigns for independent projects, or volunteering at community-run art centers. By diversifying the ecosystem of art and culture, we reduce the power of corporate gatekeepers and create more resilient, authentic spaces for artistic expression. These independent spaces are often where the most daring and critical work is born, free from the subtle pressures of corporate influence. Furthermore, fostering media literacy and public awareness is paramount. Share information about art washing, discuss it with friends and family, and challenge narratives that uncritically celebrate corporate philanthropy in the arts. Understanding the psychological tactics at play empowers us to see through the illusion and make informed judgments. Your ability to critically assess information is your greatest defense against manipulation. We need to collectively recognize that art is too important to be a corporate billboard. The fight against art washing is a fight for the soul of our culture. It's about ensuring that art remains a powerful, independent force for good, a space where uncomfortable truths can be spoken and where genuine human connection can flourish, untainted by corporate agendas. It's about protecting our shared cultural heritage from becoming a mere marketing tool. By being vigilant, demanding transparency, and actively supporting art that truly serves the public interest, we can reclaim our cultural spaces and ensure that art continues to inspire, provoke, and ultimately empower us all. Let's make sure that the stories told in our galleries and museums are truly our own, not those dictated by the highest corporate bidder.